sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here, we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch a broadcast, it's easy. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the Listen, Watch, Live button. While you're there, join the conversation. All right. Oh, it was a great weekend. How was your weekend? Hopefully everybody got some nice, great rest. I didn't get as much done around the house as I wanted, but it happens. C'est la vie. Oh. So, we're going to start. I had this article actually queued up for Friday, but due to personal life, I had to cancel the show and was unable to do the show Friday night. So, here I am. Ta-da! Played hooky. I know. I shouldn't play hooky. So, Washington Post had this article. Polar bears hurt by climate change could develop a taste for humans. The sky is not falling. We're not burning up. The polar bears are fine. They're not drowning. The seals are not drowning. The ice caps are doing good. This overdrama, fear-mongering, and what I love is they always then immediately point to the left or the right. Oh, my God. Look at that. They're fear-mongering. They're telling the truth. It's fear-mongering. When Trump was talking about inner cities and how minorities are the major makeup of these low-income major city areas, and he was talking how bad it is for him in those areas. He was talking the truth. He wasn't degrading anyone. He was pointing out that life in inner city in some of those areas is not fun. It's dangerous. It's deadly. What do we hear from the left? Oh, he's fear-mongering. He's just trying to cause a panic. But then Washington Post goes and posts an article how this fictitious global warming is going to cause polar bears to get a taste for humans and start hunting humans and killing humans. Nah, that's not fear-mongering. That's just, well, journalism. No facts behind it. The report entitled, Polar Bears Hurt by Climate Change Are More Likely to Turn to a New Food Source, Humans, cited a new study claiming that the higher global temperatures go, the researchers said, the more likely polar bears are to interact with humans and possibly attack and eat them. How about we look at, we have a higher human population. We have been doing great at conservation of animals. So there's a higher population of polar bears, which has more interaction with humans, which could cause them to then attack humans. Along with the expansion of humans, takes away the hunting grounds of the polar bears, which then puts a food shortage, causing the attacks. Nah, they'll go with the The fictitious, the world's burning up. Fucking idiots. I love starting to show off with one of these bullshit global warming stories. Their findings are based on a study published in the Wildlife Society Bulletin, which claims a perfect storm is brewing in which polar bears will increase their appetite for human flesh. WAPU points out the greatest number of polar bear attacks occurred in the partial decade of 2010 to 2014, which was characterized by historically low summer ice extent and long ice-free periods. I need like that music. Dun, dun, dun. It fails to mention, however, that due to improvements in technology, more people can explore Arctic temperatures where polar bears almost exclusively live, thus increasing the likelihood of attacks. Again, higher human population, more interaction, greater chance for attacks to happen. Furthermore, due to the apparent melting of ice in which they normally hunt seals, polar bears are now being forced inland, meaning they could turn to human meals instead. However, veteran zoologist Susan Crockford dismissed the finding, writing on her blog that she has been left speechless by the skewed data used in the study. By attempting to generate information that could be assessed with statistical methods, the author ended up with data that is so skewed and incomplete that it fails to provide a plausible assessment of the risk to humans of attacks by polar bears, she wrote. The paper also focuses much attention on the potential for increase in polar bear attacks on humans due to sea loss, blamed on global warming, but ignores totally the increased risk stemming from the larger population of adult males that now exist in protected populations. The last publicized incident of a polar bear killing a human was in 2011 when British schoolboy was mauled to death while on school's exploration trip near a glacier on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen. 4 other people were injured in the incident. But yes, let's write a fear-mongering article to generate more negative press. Oh my God, it just drives me up a wall. Nobody bought the bullshit, so they go to this extreme and try fear-mongering, just a total extreme view, to try to push their agenda on everybody. Fucking amazing. No, I'm not a psych major, but I can also see through bullshit. It's absolutely. Oh, that's why. I keep forgetting I got bifocals on. God, I feel old. It's an absolute joke is what it is. It's turned our journalism into, when you got editorial pieces hiding at, and this isn't even an editorial piece, this is an absolute joke, but we'll just give it a somewhat of a compliment and call it an editorial piece, but it's parading as a news and fact-based. You know, a lot of people just read the headlines and go on, and that's lazy on them, but these people know that. I know a lot of people only read the first couple of paragraphs of an article and move on, so they dump all the bullshit in there, and they put the other information they hide at lower where most people don't go. And we'll talk about that in a minute when we talk about some polls. We're going to get kind of in-depth on polls and how to spot their bullshit polls, what you need to look for and understand when you're looking at these polls? I mean, it's one basic piece of fact that you look at. I have no idea what it is. If I do the show without video, I won't ever yawn. I'm not tired, fully awake, just that I bit my tongue. Ugh, drives me up a wall. Drives me up a wall. Yeah. So, yeah, that was Wild Poo-Poo take on fear-mongering, which I don't understand how that paper's still in business. Democrat Representative John Lewis, the 2016 election was rigged in Trump's favor. I was like, oh, come on. No. This has got to be a joke. But during an interview aired on Friday's edition of CNN's Axe Files, which, you know, it's starting to sound, this one's along the lines of InfoWars. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for that comment. Representative John Lewis stated that he believes the 2016 presidential election was rigged in Republican nominee Donald Trump's favor. CNN senior political commentator and director of University of Chicago's Institute of Politics, David Axelrod, asked Lewis, so despite the fact that he got the requisite number of electoral votes, he often uses the word rigged. You think the election was rigged in his favor? And Lewis responded, I truly believe to this day that this election was rigged in his favor. I'd like to know how in the hell was it rigged in his favor? Only thing I could think of is because the Democrats are basically starting to admit that they put forth a shit candidate. She was one of the worst candidates they put forth. I still say to this day, Bernie Sanders was put forth, he would have won. I don't agree. I don't like him, but I think his free would have gotten massive votes. That's pretty much all the Democrat Party can do right now is buy votes. That's all they're doing is buying votes. Perfect example, we have law firm Morgan & Morgan. And it's John Morgan's the big shot of it. And he might run for governor. And he has been pushing the last two elections for pot. He got medical marijuana passed. Now, supposedly, this election, they're going to be pushing for legalizing recreational pot. He has talked about running, and one of his campaign promises is going to be recreational pot and raising minimum wage. Now, when you start talking raising minimum wage, you are buying votes. You are telling somebody, if you vote for me, I'm going to make sure you get a raise. And that's exactly what they're doing when they start talking this bullshit inequality. They're buying votes. They're buying votes from people who need more money, but they don't realize and look at the larger picture. And that's for a different conversation. But for this right now, the only thing they hear is, if I vote John Morgan and he gets, governor, I'm going to be able to smoke pot recreationally, and I am going to get a raise to buy more pot. Listen, when it comes to the pot and recreational, I'm kind of split on it. I really am. I'll admit, I have tried it before. I've done it before. Never really cared for it. I was a hellion during my younger years. I did a lot of stupid things. Let me tell you, never got hooked on anything, but I did go and try other stuff. But I didn't just one day go, hey, you know what? I'm going to go try cocaine. No, I was smoking pot and said, hey, you want to try some cocaine? Okay. People don't just sit there and go, oh, well, I'm drunk. Yeah. Oh, you want to try the cocaine, speed, crack, crank? I didn't do most all of those. I'm just throwing out names. You know, pot is not innocent. All right? But at the same time, alcohol isn't good for you either. But we allow it. We tried banning it, and it didn't go so well. But what really pisses me off when we talk about, oh, well, we need to legalize marijuana. Marijuana is perfectly fine for everybody to smoke. Oh, people can smoke it. You are smoking it. I know there's other ways of doing it, but you're still smoking it. And it is smoke. Now you get to say, oh, we got to ban cigarettes, those nasty, nasty smelling things. Really? I know when one of my neighbors is smoking like 3, 4, 5 houses down, I'll stand out in my garage. I'll be like, yep. Now you could have a cigarette that far away. I wouldn't smell it. If I go and get drunk, you're not going to get drunk off of it. But if I'm sitting there getting high and I don't realize what you're doing, I can get a contact high off you. Now, I'm responsible for your actions. It's more than just... And what's funny is I was listening to a DJ from a radio station down here. The guy makes me goddamn sick as hell. Oh, if you spank your kid, you're abusing him. He's a fucking flaming liberal. And he was bitching at the Republicans because they passed medical marijuana here in Florida. So they're doing a bill that allows tablet, or I should say pill form, or a liquid. And that is more than acceptable for everything that it was passed for. All the reasons that it was passed for. That is an acceptable usage. But you get the potheads who went, oh, I'm going to be able to go get a goddamn prescription because I'm going to come up with glaucoma. Or my nerves get too bad and I get anxiety, so I need pot. You know, and there might be some cases that it does help. I'm not trying to knock that. But there's too many people that are abusing it. What about those that take opiates, man? They're abusing. No matter what you have, you're going to be abusing. And I'd like to say thank you for the assholes that are abusing it and now crying about opiates, because now you make it hard for the rest of us that do live in pain. Now we don't get the medication we need. We get politicians sticking their nose in being doctors when they're not fucking doctors. So, I am... You want to talk rigged? That's rigging an election. And the Democrats do it constantly anymore. They try it. And they're really pushing it for this election. And look what's happening in several areas that raise their minimum wage. People are losing their jobs. People are getting their hours cut. Why? Because these small businesses can't exist. And it just goes to show Democrats hate small businesses. They hate them with a passion. They do everything they can between the taxes and putting these laws in that limits your ability to be self-sustaining. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Catholic is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Well, article just came up. I just found it, I should say. And it's looking like more Obama officials are going to be scrutinized in unmasking probe. That is not done, and it has barely even got started. Susan Rice was supposed to talk tomorrow. For some reason, it was canceled, and now it looks like it was just pushed back to later this week. The sources with knowledge of the review told Fox News the records suggest the unmasking goes beyond key officials like former NSA National Security Advisor Susan Rice, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former U.S. Ambassador to the UN Samantha Power. The source said more than a half dozen former senior Obama administration officials are now interest to House committee investigators. Committee Chairman Devin Nunes issued subpoenas in May to the CIA, FBI, and NSA for records about the identification of American citizens and intelligence reports, also known as unmasking. The subpoenas covered 2016 and were issued after allegations Rice and others unmasked associates of now President Trump. The agencies have now fully compiled. While Nunes has taken himself out of the committee's Russian inquiry following the ethics complaint, which he has denied, the chairman remains involved in the unmasking inquiry. Committee Democrats have criticized Nunes for issuing subpoenas in his current capacity. Separately, the committee has been preparing to hear from Rice in a closed-door session as early as Tuesday, though the former National Security Advisor is no longer expected to testify that day. But, of course, she says the only reason why they're talking to her is because she's a female and black. Not because she was, National Security Advisor and responsible for unmasking these people. No, that has nothing to do with it. Democrats are playing a game, and I think we finally got some people that are willing to play that game right back. I'm glad to see. All right, let's see. We're going to talk about polls. How approval polls and junk journalism are fake views pushed by fake news. Polls are deployed only when they might prove useful. You don't see a poll pushed. That's going to destroy someone's opinion. If someone's trying to prove X, Y, Z, they're not going to show you a poll that says they're wrong. That is helpful to the powers that be in the questions to maintain their power and influence, which is a comment made by Christopher Hitchens in Harper Magazine in 1992. The latest rod which to beat the President of the United States is a Washington Post ABC News poll showing Mr. Trump's approval rating languishing at 36%. Americans across the board appear on first take to be well out of love with the new president. But the small print on the poll reveals something quite disturbing about the methodology of the group responsible. And let's talk about that group. And the poll was performed by ABT Associates, a swamp dweller staffed research and policy shop in Cambridge, Massachusetts. ABT Associate board members include former Bob Dole, Bill Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama, Planned Parenthood, World Bank. In other words, it is a microcosm of the party of the Democrats. But that in itself doesn't rule ABT Associates out from doing decent work. What might, however, is the underlying philosophy behind political polling and the methodology they use to conduct it. Now, there's a certain madness in the method that they use. Walpole and ABC polling obviously predicts the U.S. election incorrectly. They'll point to the margin of error and claim they were aiming to predict the popular vote, of course. But this still led to them presenting Miss Clinton as the presumptive winner. They love to tinker with their polls to try to put somebody up. And why do they do that? Well, everybody else is voting for her. She's going to win. I mean, all the papers are saying she's going to win. So I might as well give in and vote. I said this way back during the campaign multiple times with these damn polls. I knew these polls were not correct. These polls were twisted. These polls were put out with the information that they wanted. predicted before the poll even started. The poll was done to prove their point. If you understand what I mean. They already had the answer. They had to construct the question, or the math problem, I should say, and that's what they do with these polls. And they know how to sway them. And this goes whether it's Republican, liberal, dog catcher. I don't give a shit. Scientific, you can twist these polls so easy. Even I could do it. That's how simple it is. Even a simple-minded person like me could twist these polls. That latest headline with themselves had seeded hundreds of articles in the press about the matter, which are about Donald Trump's unpopularity born out of a poll with just 1,001 person. That's an average of 20 people per state in the United States that held up as representative of the country. 20 people for every state. Millions of people in your state. Here, let's look at this. Hold on. In Florida alone, it is estimated at 20.27 million people live in Florida. 20.27 million people live in Florida. And 20 people polled represent all of us. What is that? One person for every 1 million people? California, it's 40 million people. That is not a representative of anything. But the representative element comes from projecting this data using pollster voodoo. This is what you're really paying for when you commission a poll. Anyone can survey 1,100 people, but these guys claim to know the right people and then be able to project their views out onto the whole nation. Then when we go into the data tables, since this time last year, they have overrepresented Democrat voters in their study. For this latest one, 35% of the respondents were Democrat. 23% were Republican. That's a 12% difference. 35% were independent, who in turn lean towards voting Democrat. 6% said other, and 2% had no opinion on the matter. So you're looking at almost 70% of the people polled already lean Democrat to being Democrat. And only 23 representatives being a Republican. Now that is representing the American people. Interviews they had were conducted in English and Spanish, and demographic questions they asked are not included in the data. The Washington Post was asked why, but no answer was given. Additionally, they couldn't even choose to whom they didn't even choose to whom they were speaking. They used a process called random digit dialing, which was written about by this author. One polling industry insider told the author that ORB uses random digit dialing, which effectively dials random numbers until it makes a connection with a human being who might answer a question. This methodology is used by Pew Research Center, but in tiny sample sizes, and can lead to a less representative sample than that relies more on post-poll weighting. This method has been under fire for years, but is still used with scant criticism. Finally, the pollsters declared in the data table, interviewers called landlines and cell phone numbers, first requested to speak with the youngest adult male or female at home. youngest. The final sample included 350 interviews completed on landlines and 651 interviews completed via cell phone, including 404 interviews with adults and cell phone-only household. Young cell phone users made up the dominant part of the poll, and cell phone-only household made up nearly half the interviews. It should not take up political scientists to work out how this, combined with the Democrat independent leaning of 70% of the respondents, make the poll unrepresentative. Right there should show you how unreliable these polls are. Because I've seen a lot of polls that has Trump up closer to 50%, which would make sense on his approval. And as soon as one of them come out, one of these fake news agencies immediately comes out with one of these polls and puts them down at 30%. And it's the same thing. You skew it one way, and they got the high numbers for Obama. They skew it the same way to make sure that Trump gets the low numbers. It's amazing how nobody calls him out on this. The masses should be freaking out about this, and these polling companies, they're not polling companies. They are by a result. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're buying a result. They're not buying an answer. The write-ups of the poll include information about approval rating, the Russia collusion story, healthcare, and the economy. But some of what they found is conveniently left out of the news, or it's buried. A greater stress is placed on those who disapprove than those who approve. No surprise given the poll's weighting. But of those who disapprove, what was their core issue? Domestic policy? Foreign affairs, economical theory? No, it was the inappropriate way Trump talks and act. This should at least prompt op-ed columns reflecting on how the center left are obsessing over style rather than substance. Of those who approve, they compliment POTUS's leadership foremost. The fact he is not politically correct second, and then foreign affairs, the economy, building the wall, and tracking ISIS. Further bad news for the left in the poll is that 37% of respondents think the Democrat Party stands for something, while 52% say they simply stand against Trump. Washington Post buried this in paragraph 12 of 19, while CNN did not even mention it. So the Democrat numbers are even worse than Trump's in this slanted poll. They still got hit. It's amazing. And how they hide that information shows you that they're not being scientific. They're picking and choosing data and how to represent it. It is now obvious to most of us, though. Some have been saying it for years. Take what Christopher Hitchens said in, Letters to Young Contrarians. The first thing to notice, surely, is that these voyages into the ocean of the public mind are chartered and commissioned by wealthy and powerful organizations who do not waste their money satisfying mere curiosity. The tactics are the same as those of market research. The point is not to interpret the world, but to change it. A tendency to favor one product over another is something not to be passively discovered and observed, but to be nurtured, encouraged, and exploited. He didn't stop there, and in 1992, he said the racket of opinion polling has tried to become a substitute for democracy. In Harper's Magazine, he wrote, taking explicit aim at Washington Post and CNN. Poll, poll, poll. Try reading a news story of watching one aired on TV without encountering the word. Readers of the Washington Post on February 5th, to take but one example, were offered 7 stories on the front page, and of these, 3 about the pessimism of Washington residents, the souring on capitalism, and it should go without saying the Clinton campaign, were based on polls. Not content to wait a day or two for results. CNN pioneers the new viewer phone-in poll, inviting nightly news watchers to glimpse a minute-long story, then dial instant opinion. He continued, opinion polling was born out of a struggle not to discover the public mind, but to master it. It was a weapon in the early words to thwart organized labor in the battle against populism, and it later became a rather favorite in the arsenal of master psychology parties of the European right. Polls are deployed only when they might prove useful, that is, helpful to the powers that be in their question to maintain their position and influence. Indeed, the polling industry is a powerful ally of depolarization and its counterpart, which is consensus. Finally, it is worth hearing out the man on the same topic in his own voice, opinion on how the Los Angeles Times had become so bizarre in its fidelity to public polling that they even asked their audience what outcome would be of President Reagan's colonoscopy back in 1986. The irrefutable moral of the story here is that political polling today is part of the fake news establishment way of promoting fake views, designed not only to reflect the mood or temperature of the nation, but to shape it. They put a majority of the people are thinking this, you could start corralling others to go along. Whether the majority of the people actually feel that or not, you can control it and push people into that. You can push them into voting certain people. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
all good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm amazed at how blatant they are at rigging the information, and so many people are quiet about it. So many people don't say a cotton-picking word. Drives me up a wall, it does. It drives me up a wall. I mean, I never thought people would be that sheepish. I hate to put it that way, but that sheepish. Right now I'm trying to see something. All right. Oh. I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded at so many people. Just willing to go their way and not look the facts up. Not look to make sure what they're doing is correct. Not making sure that their information is true. They take so many people at face value anymore. I don't know. ESPN, to try to get some ratings, will air O.J. Simpson's Thursday's parole hearing. It's no secret that July is a dead zone in the world of sports. The NFL hasn't started yet. The NBA just ended. The Major League Baseball isn't serious yet. However, I wasn't aware things had become this bad. I like how this author totally forgets about the NHL, you douchebag. I know, yes, the NHL's done, but you know what? You mentioned 3 out of the 4 major. Damn, everybody forgets about hockey. I think it's the better sport, too. ESPN, among other networks, has decided to air O.J. Simpson's parole hearing from the Lovelock Correctional Facility on Thursday. Not only that, ESPN will lead into the parole hearing with a 90-minute special presentation of Outside the Line, hosted by Jeremy Schneip. Simpson was convicted of armed robbery and kidnapping in 2008 after attempting to forcibly reacquire some memorabilia he claims belonged to him. The prosecution offered Simpson a plea deal which would have limited Simpson's prison term to less than 3 years. However, perhaps feeling invincible after not getting convicted in the murder of his wife and Ron Goldman in 1994, Simpson declined the offer, which resulted in the former NFL great having to serve the last 9 years in prison. You want to hear the bitch? He has been accumulating $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month. So hang on, let me get the calculator here. So 9 years times 12. That's 108 months times. He's owed $2.1 million. Ain't that a bitch? He'll walk out a millionaire again. And why do you ask? Well, simply because he is an NFL player. They get $20,000 a month in pension. He's due pension money, which the Goldmans cannot go after. Pensions are exempt from lawsuits. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of clause somewhere in there, but for the most part, pensions are exempt. So he'll walk out. If he gets paroled after being in prison 9 years, he'll get a check for $2.1 million. ESPN is in the ratings business, and no question the O.J. parole hearing will bring a large audience. But how is this sports story? O.J. hasn't played in more than a generation. The most notable and highly publicized moment of his life, his ride in a white Bronco in the trial for the murder of his wife and Ron Goldman, had nothing to do with football. Well, the trial did have a big thing to do with, CNN and all the big news agencies now. That was big news back then, and that was the first time they covered a trial from start to finish. That was big. That changed the way we view our news. So thanks, OJ. Then again, that time ESPN allowed a college professor to write a phoning story dedicated to a cop killer on their website. Didn't have a whole lot to do with sports either. Well, you know how that goes. This one... Remember CNN wanted to dox that guy because he was supposedly racist, putting up anti-Semitic comments. He's just an all-around bad guy that he should be exposed for who he is, for what he says. Well, I don't see him posting the address to a CNN journalist. There's a CNN journalist, Rashad Elijah. He posted jokes about rape, anti-white tweets. Researching the CNN journalist, Rashad Elijah has uncovered shocking statements made on his verified Twitter account. Some of these statements were made when he was already at least 20 or 21 years old. He now works at CNN and is 27 years old. So, we're looking at past comments of the president. Let's look at past comments of one of their journalists. I laugh every time I look above my bed at the rape button. Imagine if a conservative white man had said that worked for Fox. Holy shit. I mean, I could just hear the Twitterverse Just blowing up. Ah! Rapist. Nope. But it's okay for a CNN journalist. How about his tweet almost had to light this fat ass fag in this club. He ain't, I know I got the hands. And then, I guess someone complained. No, this tweet came a couple days before. This went to a girls are like buses. If you're going to use the word, can you at least spell it right? And again, excuse me, I'm quoting from Rashard Elijah's Twitter. Spell it right, and he spelled out faggot. And then shake my SMH, shake my head. Again, I'm repeating what he has written. Then, maybe you should eat some makeup so you can be pretty on the inside too, bitch. Roots got me hating white folks. All my white residents keep coming to me asking questions. Don't you see me watching Roots? This ain't the time. I'm trying to take a white girl named Becky home. Now imagine a Fox journalist. I'm trying to take a black girl home, or, all the black residents keep coming to me asking questions. Or again, a certain movie got me hating black folks. They would freak the fuck out. Maybe you should eat some makeup so you can be pretty on the inside too, bitch. Oh, the war on women from the right. Look at this. This is a proof that the Republicans hate women. The headlines write themselves, but when it's one of their own, you don't hear a goddamn word. You don't hear shit. It's deafening. All you hear is that's it. Nothing else. Because it don't help their cause. It proves that their cause is full of shit. It proves that there's mean, disgusting, vile people that don't watch what they say. It shows that people on Twitter, right, left, in the center, fucking Martians, I don't care, let their mouths get away with them. That's not excusing what they're saying. But people, because it's not in their face, they think they could say whatever they want. They're more open to speak. And it's both sides. It's human nature. Right, wrong, or indifferent what they say, human nature is there's no threat coming back at them immediately in their face when they type that. And they get keyboard strong. These young kids think it's funny to make a lot of these comments and don't think about, and they're all, fuck the company if they don't care. I was making a joke back then. Fuck them. Except now it might come back and bite him on his ass. I mean, after the shitstorm, CNN calls that idiot over the CNN Trump wrestling. They should make sure that they fire this guy and expose his information to the public. Because they sure as hell justified on why they threatened that person. Why they blackmailed that person. CNN, I haven't forgot about you blackmailing. You can come up with whatever excuse you want. You stole blackmail. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It's not an easy battle, I'll tell you that right now. I've been saying that for a while now. It's a never-ending battle. And sometimes the battle gets frustrating, I'll tell you that. Sometimes it seems like it's a no win. Sometimes it just you wonder if it's worth the battle. Then you think of what this country's about, and then you remember, yeah, it is worth it. So, looking at something real quick. I know I have some. Looking at not just having my channel. Right now, my videos are streamed through SHR Media, but I have my own YouTube also, so I'm looking at adding that back into it. So, my dumb ass is in here looking on, alright, can I do this? Like, I don't have enough on my plate already. Oh, what am I thinking? Alright, let's get back to the news. I'll play with that later. I always get sidetracked on stuff. And this is the one thing that the Democrats can't get through their goddamn head. This is what screwed them on the election. And this is what's screwing them continually. Voters who live in the heartland and outside the New York, D.C. media bubbles do not care about the legacy media's obsession with Russia. And I'll go beyond, even inside that New York, D.C. area. Unless you're in that small Washington, D.C. bubble, psst, nobody gives a flying fuck about that Russia bullshit story. An Iowa radio news director emailed CNN media reporter Brian Steller out of all people on Thursday to tell him that conservatives in his state are very angry at the legacy press because they think the media are using Russia stories to oust and delegitimize President Donald Trump. They think the Trump-Russia deal is a coup attempted by the media and don't think there is anything to the Russia or Trump Jr. emails. Robert Leonard, the news director, emailed, "They don't understand why the media is trying to oust our duly elected president. They think there is a double standard. Why isn't anyone investigating the Clinton campaign Russian connection? They are standing firm behind Trump. And who do they think they're going to stand behind come the 2018 midterm elections? People are going to remember how the Democrat Party just obstructed, how they became the party of resistance, how they just got in the way. And not that they didn't like his plans, they didn't like him. They didn't like that he won. That's the funny part. It's not his ideas. It's not his, intercommerce and business. I mean, they don't like it, but you know what? It's because they lost. This could have been Joe Schmo from Kokomo, and they'd be doing the same thing. Why? Because Hillary Clinton was told she would win. The Democrats expected they were going to win. They thought it was theirs. It was owed to them. They deserved it by not doing anything. They listened to their own bullshit. And that's what got them in trouble. They listened to their own bullshit. They believed their own lies. And there's a double standard. Hillary Clinton and the DNC have a closer connection to Russia than Trump ever did. According to a recent Harvard-Harris poll, nearly 2/3 of Americans believe that there exists a campaign to delegitimize Trump. Reporters who have gone to working-class areas in states like Pennsylvania, Trump supporters aren't abandoning him in the Pennsylvania towns, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Kentucky, and even Tennessee and Trump countries, Russian scandals don't resonate, have all reported similar sentiment. CNN, though, keeps focusing on Russia, even though one of its anchors, Elizin Camarader, said on Friday that she was actually experiencing Russian fatigue. A Media Research Center study found, for instance, that Camerata's CNN morning show Newsday spent a whopping 93% of its airtime on Wednesday on Trump-Russia stories. People don't give a fuck about Russia. They don't believe this bullshit. Sorry to put it so bluntly, but people don't believe in the bullshit. Wait a minute. Now, this is, I think, local time to Nevada. Oil well fire. Several structures have been lost, several more in danger. In White Rock, fire has jumped I-80 and East Idaho Street at several locations. I got a scanner program that just popped that up. I wonder what's going on. Let me pop the scanner up, see if there's anything real quick. It could get a little loud real quick, so I do apologize. We're going live to the scanner. And nothing. Dead air. Dead air.
1906, Airtown.
All right. Doesn't seem like a lot's going on, at least on air. They're probably busy fighting a fire, but that's pretty interesting to see. Now, let's get on. This scares me a little bit. This honestly scares me a little bit. Zuckerberg, there's a lot of rumors that 2020, Zuckerberg is going to take a shot at running for president. Now, this writer says that's a dream come true for Republicans. And you would think that Republicans couldn't hope for an opponent more stiff, corporate, or alien-like than Hillary Clinton, but then comes along Mark Zuckerberg. The Facebook's founder, I'm totally not running for president tour, unofficial title, is in full swing as he attempts to communicate with ordinary human beings in places that most hipster tech CEO considered barbaric territories like Nebraska. Rarely a day goes by without a news story about it or a meme. Well, I'm not exactly that excited to see that he could possibly run. He has a very large audience. But on the other hand, he does have a bad history. Which I don't know if it would hurt him. I mean, Trump didn't have the cleanest history. But Facebook worries me. Because he has that at his disposal. But I don't know if he would be able to use it to his advantage like I'm thinking. Because they're already under fire for muting conservatives. And we'll get into it later, as this article does. They were almost investigated. I think it was by the Senate or the House. And I think he would have to divorce himself from Facebook. Ginger ale. Goodness. Zuckerberg announced his 30-state tour in a Facebook post in January saying his aim was to talk to more people about how they're living, working, and thinking about the future. The billionaire tech CEO explained his motivation in highly political terms, insisting on his determination to understand the plight of common Americans. For decades, technology and globalizations have made us more productive and connected. This has created many benefits, But for a lot of people, it has also made life more challenging. This has contributed to a greater sense of division than I have felt in my lifetime. We need to find a way to change the game so it works for everyone. Despite making stops at noted presidential campaign trail location, Zuckerberg has denied his plans for a presidential run. Just like virtually every other potential president candidate before him, then including Hillary Clinton. Should Republicans be worried about the founder and CEO of most influential social media platform in the world is fairly transparently preparing a presidential bid? Not at all. In fact, they should be overjoyed for a number of seasons. Yeah, I can talk today. I can talk every day. Da-da-da-da-da. Looks like I might get my own helmet-wearing, window-licking award. The scariest thing about Zuckerberg from a political standpoint is his control of Facebook with over 2 billion users. The platform has potential to influence vast numbers of voters, far more than anything the legacy media could hope to achieve. But Facebook has demonstrated unwillingness to openly favor any political party during the last election. After the trending news scandal in which Facebook was threatened with a Senate investigation over political bias, the social network scrambled to clean house. I don't think they did a good cleaning job. Conservatives are still being attacked and still being silenced at an alarming rate, while these liberals run shot all over, saying and acting and doing whatever they want. Peter Thiel, a prominent Trump supporter on the company's board of directors, is unlikely to permit any anti-Trump bias for the foreseeable future. That doesn't mean that there aren't plenty of uber progressives at Facebook who would like to use the platform's power to swing election. But so far, the company seems committed to a public stance of neutrality. Now, don't forget they're doing this new fake news removal. It's going to be an AI that controls it, supposedly. All you have to do is set it up. Every time it's conservative leaning, it gets removed. He has the right to run. I'm not saying he can't run. I'd have a lot of trepidation of him running. Look at that. I used a $5 word. Woohoo! I don't think it's as black as white as we think. It would bug me, worry me a lot with him running. I'll tell you that right now. Of course, that could all change very quickly, which would give Zuckerberg a big advantage in a presidential bid. But even with such advantage, it's hard to imagine how such an unappealing candidate could even win the Democrat primaries, let alone the general election. Besides his obvious lack of personal appeal, he can hardly pose for a picture without someone on social media turning it into a tongue-in-cheek meme about him being a secret reptilian who wants to brainwash humans. Zuckerberg's personal politics go entirely against the grain of the current mood in middle America. Firstly, Zuckerberg is a pro-immigrant radical. He has praised Angela Merkel's decision to open Europe's doors to refugees, which triggered a wave of crime, sexual violence, and terrorism as inspiring, and said the U.S. should follow Germany's lead. He also personally assured the German chancellor that he would clamp down on quote-unquote hate speech against migrants on Facebook, which he subsequently did. Prior to the 2016 campaign, Zuckerberg was at the forefront of Silicon Valley-led effort to loosen U.S. immigration regime. If there is one candidate who is guaranteed to ensure that Trump's base, who rated immigration among the highest priority, turning out to vote for him, again, it's Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I'm not sure. I'm very, very leery. We're going to continue with this article right after the break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catholics, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. don't forget this week. This week we have 19th through the 22nd. We will have SHR Media and HP Pundit in Las Vegas for Freedom Fest. They'll be reporting, a lot of writing. You need to pay attention to the websites and tune into the radios to check out everything that is going on. It'll be exciting. There's a lot of information that comes out of Freedom Fest. And I'm hoping to have a major announcement. It'll probably be about another month before I could really officially announce it. But I'm hoping next year I will be there for Freedom Fest. So that will be to be determined. I thought I was going to make it this year, but wasn't able to get some things, my ducks in a row. So we're talking about Zuckerberg running for president. You know, for all his comments of that he has all these concerns for the average American, Zuckerberg is also associated with Silicon Valley, a place that is, for good or ill, sucking away their jobs. It's also a place, it's a bubble. They do not really have an understanding of middle America. They think they remember, but memories fade. We have a tendency to cover up horrors in our life. And I would say they don't remember what it's like to maybe scrape day to day, if they ever did. I'm not going to speak for all of them. But if, for the most part, they don't remember. Presuming that Zuckerberg runs on a Democrat ticket, he will represent the party behind the job-killing minimum wage and the industry behind the job-killing robots. Now, remember, he works for this Silicon Valley area that is creating the burger-flipping robots, slashing away fast food jobs by the day, but it was assisted by the stupid public policy of pushing a minimum wage of $15 an hour. So he'll be running on the party and part of the group that killed a lot of jobs. Assuming that large numbers of Americans are still suffering economical hardship by the time Zuckerberg runs, they are also unlikely to take kindly to the plurocrat obsessed with issues that are interest to few Rust Belt voters like Black Lives Matter. Sorry. One of the tweets someone put, for the last time, I'm not a reptilian, so we can go back to discussing vital biological weakness of us humans. And I guess it had a picture of Zuckerberg, and I thought it was funny. Some would argue that Zuckerberg's image as a teenage wonderkind who created one of America's most successful companies from his college dorm will be an asset. But this narrative is flimsy. Zuckerberg has been dogged throughout his entire career by accusation that he stole the concept of Facebook from, was it the Winklevoss twins? The battle with the twins was even dramatized in a Hollywood movie. Should Zuckerberg run in 2020 or 2024, as his close friends predict, those allegations are sure to resurface. Then there's the problem with Zuckerberg's personal style, if it can even be called that. Donald Trump, with his long career in entertainment, has a remarkable capacity to dominate a stage. Zuckerberg, meanwhile, is noted for his monotone voice and creepy stares. The billionaire who owns 20 identical gray T-shirts so he doesn't have to worry about what to wear. Some tech CEOs, like Steve Jobs, were brilliant, charismatic performers who were able to captivate a live audience. There are currently no signs that Zuckerberg is one of them. The only thing that would get him, and he's been screaming for a government paycheck, that everybody should be receiving a government check, a livable wage from the government. And one number that's been floated around is like $1,500 be sent to everybody every month. When the fuck did Uncle Sam become a sugar daddy? I mean, seriously, when did Uncle Sam become a sugar daddy? I'm worried about what I'm going to have to do to pay back something of that magnitude. Because those checks don't come free. I mean, first of all, where is our government going to get that money? That money isn't going to last forever. I know it works in some other countries, and it's working small scales in a couple areas. There's some company that's experimenting out somewhere out west with it. But they're working at a small scale, like 1,000 people, and like $1,000, $2,000 a month. You know, it's not hard to keep up with a small scale. You start going large scale production, you run into a lot more issues. And again, where are they going to get the money? Taxes. What are we going to have to give up in return for that money? Freedoms. You think our government's going to want to give us money for nothing? If Zuckerberg was so serious about that idea, and he's rich enough, why doesn't he just do it? His company do it. He's talked about giving away all of his money. Him and his wife want to give away all their money. Then again, that's after they die. You know, they don't want to be scraping like an average American. They love their life of luxury, living behind walls for security, having security watch over them. Yeah, and I see how he's just like us. He's lost touch with reality. He would be perfect for the Democrat Party. He would fit in as a substitute for Hillary Clinton. And then there are the memes. The social media mockery, as seen in the tweets above, has already begun. If Hillary Clinton was frequently compared to an alien or a robot, it is nothing compared to Zuckerberg. Both for his own political fortunes and for the entertainment that will follow, then Republicans should sincerely hope that Zuckerberg really does run in 2020. I don't know about that. Thing is, I can't wait to see the stage for the Democrat Party. It's going to be filled. And they were mocking the Republicans last year for the 2016. Wait till the Democrats come along. They're going to have this huge stage. Because you're going to have Bernie Sanders. You're going to have Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. Elizabeth Warren, and the list is going to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And like they said, they have no leadership right now. No leadership. And I'm not talking, yes, they have someone that's the head of the DNC. That doesn't mean leadership. They have zero leadership and too many chiefs and no Indians going right now. Oh, great. Oh, you're racist for saying that. That hurts American Indians' feelings. Well, there can only be one chief. That's all. So, Hungary, hippo. Hungry hippo. Is bitching, and I agree with him, saying that smearing legitimate criticism of George Soros as anti-Semitism is cynical and dishonest. I love how when they get attacked, you get called racist, sexist, anti-Semitic. You know, they always find a reason to throw isms or obios at you when you criticize them. But when they criticize you, it's perfectly acceptable. A spokesman for the Hungary Prime Minister has hit back at cynical and dishonest claims by EU officials that government criticism of billionaire open border activist George Soros is anti-Semitic. The Central European country is in conflict with the EU over its refusal to accept the compulsory migrant quota the bloc wishes to impose, and its effort to increase transparency around foreign funding of non-governmental organizations, the NGO. some of which are believed to be front for Soros' efforts to undermine the government and its policy of maintaining strong borders in the face of migrant crisis. I'm going to bring this back here to America real quick. Democrats cry that Republicans have allowed a foreign people, foreign country, to interfere on our elections, interfere in our government. But they're okay. The fucking Democrat Party is okay with George Soros coming in here and funding so much crap and destruction in this country. That is acceptable to him, that a foreigner, whether he's got an American citizenship, doesn't. I don't care. I'm not sure. Let me look that up so I'm not misquoting. But either way, they allow this scumbag of a man, and no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I always love that one. Go ahead, call me it. Don't scare me. I've heard it so many years because I'm a big, bald guy. Well, I got some hair now. But big and bald. Oh, you're Nazi, aren't you? You hate Jews. You're a Jew hater, aren't you? I married into a Jewish family. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. And that's just funny because, bye. George Soros has citizenship in Hungary and the United States. I didn't know his son is married to Hillary Clinton. Chelsea Clinton. Damn. Somebody was telling me that the other day. I got to look this up now. Where is it spells? Hang on. No, not that one. I got to look this up. Mama, get that, mama. Oh. I think I got my tablet right here. It's no big deal, but curiosities, but maybe not. I thought hedge fund partner. No, I was told wrong. All right, my bad. I was told wrong. But still, that doesn't stop. George Soros, I don't care whether he has U.S. citizenship or not. He has been trying to destroy everything in this country. He's banned in several European countries. Why? Because of what he tries to push, this open borders. He just tries to destroy everything about people caring about their country. If you care about your own country, he wants to destroy it because he wants this globalism. He's like the master. He's the puppet master behind the globalization. There's others, but he is the puppet master. Why? Because he's bound to make billions of dollars off of it. And he plays the long game. And he has no problem with it. Those are some smart people. When you play the long game, you're thinking. The Democrat Party, they love to play that short game. Short. Who wears short shorts? Things that pop into Jersey Joe's head. It's scary. It's scary to be in my head. It really is. He has a net worth of $25.2 billion. Damn. What is it? Bill Gates, the richest, and then the guy that owns Amazon is in second and closing in. But now I'm hearing Amazon is in trouble that they might split the company up. It's becoming too big and too strong. That could be dangerous. That could be dangerous. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, and that's not dangerous. And HP Pundit, and we will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Don't forget the show is every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and only here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. I am so glad Dan the Man's back. I'm glad to hear he's feeling a lot better. So, take a look, see what I want to do for GOP Rep DeSantis is hinting at an investigation of Ben Rhodes and supports subpoena for Comey memos. Saturday on Hugh Hewitt's MSNBC program, Representative Ron DeSantis, which is a Republican from Florida, discussed memos written by former FBI Director James Comey about his meeting with Donald Trump. Those mems were leaked to the press through an intermediary, but may have included classified information or something DeSantis said he would support in congressional committee issuing subpoenas to obtain. Also during the segment, DeSantis hinted at a possible investigation or call to appear before a congressional committee of former Obama National Security Deputy Advisor Ben Rhodes for some of the leaks appearing in the media. It's about time. They need to start looking into the previous administration and a lot of the illegal actions that they took. So, Bret Easton Elias reveals story behind dinner party attack on him over Trump. Author and cultural critic Bret Easton Elias classified his tweet over the weekend in which he said he would forgo having political discussions with dinner guests, telling Breitbart News that it is not liberals or conservatives he is most frustrated with, but the media as a whole. In a series of tweets over the weekend, the American Psycho author wrote that he had been called a Trump apologist and accused of colluding with Russia by an unnamed individual as he was leaving a Sunset Tower hotel in Los Angeles on Saturday. Is the left fucking nuts? Elias asked. In a tweet, he said, defending the American voter, I'm yelled at in the Sunset Tower for being a Trump apologist, including with Russia. Is the left fucking nuts? The author, screenwriter, and podcast host also said he would no longer engage in political discussions with anyone. Too much insanity. Another dinner ruin. People are fucking crazy. Get a grip. In a follow-up email, Elias, who has regularly criticized liberal in the wake of the Trump election for losing their shit and becoming consumed by so-called resistance, filled in the details on his experience over the weekend at the Sunset Tower Hotel and explained that it is really the American media with which he is most appalled. Now, he wrote, "Hey, I was with a friend, a Hollywood producer, and it was a private conversation. I brought up something about fake news in relations to a movie I'd seen. Baby Driver is a cinematic equivalent to fake news, I think was the line. And she started to go ballistic on me for using that term. I defended not only my use of it, but the use of it in a wider context. And then all hell broke loose. I kept it together, but she lost it. Even attacking my socialist millennial boyfriend, who she has known for 7 years. He wasn't there. When I told her he has stopped watching MSNBC and Rachel Maddow, his goddess, for a while, after being disappointed and turned off by their fake news, not that my boyfriend agrees with the term fake news either, but the MSNBC bias was not moving the needle for him fast enough. Empty promises from Maddow and in terms of Russia, impeachment, and taxes, nada, nothing, nada. MSNBC was replaced by Food Network and Japanese animation for him. On Saturday, I just listened, sometimes disagreed. Mostly let her talk. But when defending the Electoral College and how the system works, and he says, I didn't vote for Trump, she accused me of being on Trump's side and therefore colluding with everything he represents. Once home, I threw a couple of tweets out in frustration and a little buzz. Nothing out of the ordinary, just how a lot of people are feeling. I try not to tweet anything political just because I'm not that interested. As my boyfriend pointed out, my boyfriend thought the tweets were pious and low vibrational. I don't do interviews regarding politics, so I say no to just about everyone. Sometimes I'll talk about it in my podcast, but really it's the media that I'm appalled by. As for whoever's in the White House, they got voted in. What can you do? What I'm critiquing has nothing to do with the left or right, liberal, conservatives. I don't believe in those labels whatsoever. I also want to make clear that this doesn't happen all the time. People know better, and there's a lot of groupthink out here. So the idea of things being constantly ruined isn't necessarily true. There are tribes. Beverly Hills went red for Trump, so LA being 100% anti-Trump is not that clear cut. For me, as a gay man living in West Hollywood, it's really only a few people so fatally immersed in the bubble that can get my usual chill self somewhat pissed off. My dinner partner on Saturday said she had never heard that Comey admitted the New York Times had gotten the series of stories wrong. She thought I had made that up. When I told her the world isn't this, gesturing around the dark umpness of Sunset Tower, and that the divide is real, she dismissed it with Trump's approval rating without acknowledging the media's approval ratings are lower than Trump's. She pointed out MSNBC was killing it in the ratings, and I told her that Maddow and Hannity are basically neck and neck any given night, and yet I was thinking I don't watch either one, so why am I even engaging in this? This election has brought out the worst in a lot of people and brought out the better in some. But the one that has brought the worst out, it's scary. And I'll admit, it's not all on the left. There's some on the right that... It's like, shit, go back to where you were. There's racists on both sides. There's bigots on both sides. There's wrong and there's right on both sides. That doesn't mean I'm agreeing with everything the left does right now. That doesn't mean that I think right is totally wrong or right is totally right. Everybody needs to take a step back and breathe. We felt the same way about Obama. And we didn't lose our shit like this. We survived. You will survive. Our economy is doing so much better. Jobs are out there. That's why the media has to throw a hissy fit. They have to cover up all the good that Trump is doing. Because they actually talked about it. They actually talked about what the administration is doing. The left would be in worse trouble than they are. They would have to start working along to survive. I still don't know if they're going to survive the way they're acting. Most Americans see it. There's little bubbles. Yes, there's little bubbles that are blindly, oh, look, I don't see what's going on. I don't know nothing. I don't know. Trump's bad. Trump's bad. But I do believe it. And these are the same things I saw during the campaigns, during election season. The media screaming one thing, but the American people thinking something totally different. The media has some people fooled. But it's funny when they scream about these supposed low approval ratings of President Trump. But they don't talk about the media's dismal approval rating. What are they, like 20%? How about the fact that Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan are polling lower than Donald Trump? I know a lot of people are like, well, that's the Republicans. Chuck Schumer, Pelosi are polling even worse than Donald Trump. So that should tell you something right there. Even if we use those skewed polls, I say Trump isn't doing good. All those that I just listed, mainstream media, Pelosi, Ryan, Schumer, McConnell, are doing worse than Donald Trump. So you can sit there and bitch all you want, but look at yourself in the mirror because you're even worse than what you're bitching about. My dad always told me, and I don't live up by it, but I comment on this show about what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm seeing. But he always tried to say, when it comes to life, you have this little placemat in front of you. You have that little square, dinner plate, dinner mat. Anybody remember those we used to use? You put them down, put the plates on top. But that is your life. When you have a perfect square going and everything's perfect inside and it's perfectly clean and everything's perfect about it, then you can start going out, touching other people's. Till then, worry about yours. And right now, the parties, Democrat Party, needs to look inside and figure out their own shit. They got to work out what's wrong with their party before they start pointing their fingers about what's wrong with everybody else. It's not a hard concept to grab. This is something they need to figure out. They have no message right now, and they're admitting it. They have no message. They're all over the board with so much shit, so many different factions, they don't know what the hell they're doing. Right now, the only message they have is Trump is bad. Trump say mean things. Oh, and Obamacare. All hail Obamacare. You got pretty much half the party trying to fight to save Obamacare as it fails, and the other half screaming, Russia's coming, Russia's coming. Well, Russia's not coming, the sky's not falling, Obamacare is failing. Democrats need to wake up. With that, everybody have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow right here on SHR Media. High Plains Radio. Come on, damn it, button work. I always have this problem, don't I? See you tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, right here on SHR Media. Have a great night. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.